stage set, welcome on board Mandurah for our dolphin cruise and views. The next hour and 15 minutes are going to be spent cruising through Mandurah shallow waterways as we do search for our bottlenose dolphins. Do keep in mind these dolphins are completely wild. We don't train them, tag them, track them or feed them, so any encounters we may have are solely up to the dolphins themselves. This does mean there's never a 100% guarantee for sightings, but we will do our absolute best to spot some for you today. You may notice the brownish colour to the water at the moment. This is due to an increase in freshwater inflow into the system, as well as a runoff from the tenons in our rivers. This can make it quite a bit harder to spot our dolphins, so do keep alert. Even if you think you see something, feel free to shout out, point out, and we'll try to get a good look at whatever it is. Now that we are well and truly clear of the jetty, if you want to get up and move around the vessel, you are free to do so. If you want to head down to the bow of the boat, just remember go all the way down to the lower levels. If you're sitting down there, just ensure there's no arms or legs hanging over the edge of the boat. Make sure kids aren't climbing or standing on the handrails, and especially no hanging or climbing out any of the windows. If you do want something from the bar downstairs, you are free to grab my attention. I'll head down into the lower cabin and serve you at the bar itself as well. So what we are going to do is we're actually going to head up to the left under the Mandurah Bridge. Head up towards the estuary system. Hopefully we'll spot some dolphins along this pathway here. Before we turn around, come back through the canals and then head down towards Mandurah's Ocean Marina. These dolphins can be found at absolutely any point on today's journey. This route will just take us through some of the main sighting locations. Does connect our Indian Ocean with the Peel Harvey Estuary. It's the main channel through Mandurah's waterways, with Epula Pool over on our left side. There is also a 50-metre square pool up on our front right. It is important to note if you do go for a swim in either of these, it is only enclosed through the floating pontoons, so there's no net underneath it, meaning marine life does move in and out as it pleases. So you do need to watch your feet for crabs as you wade into the shallows, and sometimes our dolphins do like causing quite a bit of a scare as well. The one on the left is actually referred to as Gavi, which does translate into dolphin water. So we are now going to be heading under the Mandurah Bridge. This bridge is the third bridge here in Mandurah, built in the location of our first bridge, alongside what is left of the second bridge. Our second bridge was mostly made out of Jarrah wood, lasted the area a total of 70 years before they did have to tear it down back in 2018 due to a termite infestation. What they were able to save was converted into a very popular little fishing and crabbing spot, though today is actually the last day of the open season for the blue swimmer crab, so people are definitely out and about trying to catch their fill before the season closures do start. Blue swimmer crab season is closed from the 1st of September right through till the end of November. is a major filter through these waters, removes a lot of the excess salts, nutrients and pollutants, especially the phosphates in the fertilisers used up on the farms. These wetlands are also important areas for our bird life. The one on our left is our Soldiers Cove, and it's actually a nesting site for our black swans. We do have 2 or 3 nests at the moment. You might only just be able to spot the swans. There's one that's just stuck its head up out of the shrubbery, but otherwise sometimes all you can see are the black bundle of feathers as they're curled up on the nests. Another bird that does utilise this area is our osprey or our seahawk. Haven't spotted any of those on the area today, but often you'll see them perched in the shrubbery with a catch where they'll clean and descale the fish, eat the parts they want and leave the rest for the scavengers. Even our little oyster catchers as well. On top of the 80 that are here all year round, Mandurah draws in about 20 species of migratory birds, which will travel in from places as far away as Alaska and Siberia. Some of these migratory birds, such as the red-necked snipe, are no bigger than a tip tram, and they travel 12,500 kilometres just to get here. It's an extremely long and tiring journey. The little birds will often need to put on up to 70% of their own body weight, which is what they will lose on the flight over. In order to ensure these birds are able to put on the weight necessary to make the return trip home, Mandurah's wetland systems are all protected areas, recognised on an international level for their importance to the biodiversity. This does mean that the areas are to remain as natural and wild as possible. There is extremely limited access to them, so areas like our Soldiers Cove, the Channel Island and Boundary Island, there is extremely limited or almost no access to people. So some of our systems, such as the Sandfire wetlands out on our right, have got things like bird watching huts, boardwalk trails and some absolutely wonderful bush trails. So Mandurah is a beautiful spot if you are interested in the marine environment, but there's also some absolutely astounding terrestrial areas as well. We do just need to slow down briefly as we make our way under the Mandurah Estuary Bypass Bridge. This bridge is currently 2 lanes southbound, 1 lane northbound. It gets extremely busy during the peak hour, so mostly with the morning rush or the after school rush. In order to manage some of the congestion, try to make the travel or the commute a little bit quicker or easier, they're in the process of building a second bridge alongside the first one. This will ensure we have 2 lanes plus an emergency goal in either direction. So it should hopefully help manage some of that peak hour traffic. But we just need to control our speed just to ensure that the floating pontoons and stuff don't get washed out. going straight out, we would be making our way into the Peel Harbour estuary. This estuary system is fed by 3 rivers. It is fed by the Harley, the Serpentine, and one of 3 Murray rivers in Australia. You would have to make your way across the estuary to get to our man-made opening, the Dawesville Cuts as well. A lot of mid to high tides, so as we are now heading back into the lower tides, we are going to need to remain vigilant. If you do see a dolphin or suspect a dolphin may be stranded, your best bet is to contact the DVCA or the local volunteers or community that is in charge of the